A Charlotte County man arrested. Deputies say he was so drunk when he got lost a block and a half from his house. This morning, hear from his neighbors who say the half-naked man wandered into their yards. And a family has to start over after a fire tears through their home, killing dozens of pets. We were speaking with the homeowner about the loss and how his wife is recovering in the hospital. Breaking news this morning, a fire destroys a mobile home in Fort Myers. You can see the damage right here. It looks like the top of the home was melted. Our crews were on scene at East Carnegie Circle, which is right off US 41 and Babcock Circle. San Carlos Park and Estero Fire were on scene. No one was hurt, and we're working to find out what caused the fire. Today, talks continue about what to do with one of Cape Coral's most recognizable landmarks. The old Cape Coral Golf Course has been closed for a decade. Tonight is the second meeting where you can tell city leaders what the 175-acre property should be transformed into. The historic course is in the city center on Palm Tree Boulevard. The city bought the property 2 years ago. We last told you the city talked about creating an oasis here, with outdoor cafes and restaurants as well as parks. The city is supposed to come out with a final master plan for the golf course in spring of 2026. Ahead at 5, we'll tell you more about tonight's meeting.
It looked like the man was actually still in the vehicle at the time. They hadn't pulled him out yet. And I sat there for about 30 minutes before traffic was able to clear out.
This morning, a 19-year-old is facing DUI charges after troopers say he crashed an SUV with a teenage passenger and a 1-year-old in the back seat. Now, troopers say that the toddler wasn't even buckled into a car seat. Florida Highway Patrol says that Wyatt Milks was behind the wheel Tuesday afternoon. He was driving on Loblolly Bay Road when he lost control of the vehicle, started to roll several times into the grass. Gulf Coast News spoke with one woman who drove by the crash Tuesday afternoon. She says this is a constant reminder for everyone to make sure kids are safe and secure anytime you're driving.
It's really sad because I plan on having kids of my own, someday very soon in the future. And to think that, you'd leave a child responsible in the care of somebody that you trust, or even your own child, to leave them in such a dangerous circumstance without any type of restraint.
Both the child and the 17-year-old passenger were injured. The crash is still under investigation. We are working to find out the current condition of the two kids. This morning, a family is starting over after a fire completely destroyed their North Fort Myers home. Dozens of animals were found dead inside. We now know the family who lives there rescues and trains animals, explaining why there were so many pets inside. Gulf Coast News was on scene when the restoration crews arrived and spoke to the homeowner, who says he lost his service dog in the fire.
I got a phone call from the wife, hey, the house is on fire. The first thing, my service dog was like my child. My dog is gone. My anxiety is I don't know how to handle this whole situation now. I don't know where to go from here.
2 people were inside at the time of the fire. One was Trenton Chalkley's wife, who you just heard from. He says he's recovering from a hand burn in the hospital. Their service dog was one of the 3 dogs killed in the fire. The North Fort Myers Fire District says at least 12 cats also died.
I spoke to her on the phone. She apologized. She's like, I tried going into the bedroom. I couldn't see nothing. It was so black. And that's when I burnt my hand was on the door and I had to leave the house.
Smoke is what does the most damage. Smoke is what will cause death. Smoke is what causes the destruction of your home. Smoke spreads fast. And closing that door gives you a little bit more of a barrier.
Firefighters say that the cause of the fire was electrical. A heartbreaking moment was seen earlier as one of the surviving dogs was brought out, visibly shaken and held tightly by family members right on the street. The fire started on Santa Cruz Street, and the Red Cross is helping the family recover. Now, let's be honest, there are some nights where we all think we have a little too much fun, but have you ever been so drunk you could find your house in your own neighborhood? Well, one Charlotte County man is now behind bars for disturbing his neighbors after deputies say he got lost. Nolan Worrell was wandering the streets of the Shadow Moss community. Get this, he had no shirt, no shoes, and apparently no idea where he was. Charlotte County Sheriff's Office says that's when they received the calls from neighbors reporting him from wandering through several yards a block and a half from his home.
I didn't think it'd be a nearly naked man. Just had shorts on, that's all. And they were very loose shorts, by the way. He had no shoes, no shirt. He stated that this was his house, which it wasn't. And she said his mother-in-law and his girlfriend were inside, and he was locked out. He proceeded to take the screen off the window. He was going to break the window, but his feet got cold, so he went and got a coat.
Deputies say Worrell removed 2 window screens and pulled on the lanai's door handle so hard that it bent. Worrell lives here on Rose Apple Circle, but was caught on Wynwood Court. Worrell was arrested and taken to the Charlotte County Jail on a misdemeanor charge for loitering and prowling. Today we have a couple traffic warnings to tell you about. Drivers in Charlotte County, there will be lane closures on US 41 for the next week. This is so crews can trim trees and spread mulch on medians. This is happening daily from 7 in the morning to 5:30 at night. The closures affecting Toledo Blade Boulevard to Hillsborough Boulevard. This work will wrap up on December 11th. Now, as drivers in Collier County, a major road closure starts tomorrow night. The intersection of State Road 82 and Church Road will be closed all weekend. That is just west of Corkscrew Road. Crews are doing underground work and paving. The intersection closes at 6 tomorrow night and should reopen early Monday morning. When it closes, drivers are asked to take State Road 29 around the intersection. A new report from the national real estate firm says 7 of the 10 coolest housing markets here in the U.S. are right here in Florida. 3 of those, Cape Coral, Naples, and Punta Gorda, top of the list, just behind Champaign, Illinois. Experts say despite the report, the market is seeing a slow improvement. Realtor.com says if property taxes are eliminated, home sales would spike nearly 10%.
I actually bought a year ago. It was right before they dropped. Now my property has devalued if I went to sell it today compared to what I bought it for.
You kind of watch what you spend all the time because we're on the fixed income.
Well, it certainly seems logical. If you reduce the cost of housing, then you're going to see an increase in demand and likely offset in an increase in prices.
Experts agree that now is still a good time to buy a home as interest rates have dropped. From your Cape Coral News team, the fire department's 13th annual Keep the Wreath Green fire safety campaign is underway. Firefighters this week hung up a wreath illuminated with green bulbs. The campaign is a fire safety campaign. The fire department says if it's a preventable fire such as cooking, smoking, holiday decorations, candles, or something similar happens between now and January 1st, one of the lights on the wreath will turn red. It's a major milestone in the construction of the new concourse at RSW. The airport is sharing that the final structural beam is now in place. You can see the framework of the new Concourse E here. The latest step signals the end of the structural phase of the building. Construction has been going on for months and has left some lanes closed outside, and traffic has been a little more congested. So remember, if you're going to the airport anytime soon, give yourself a little extra time. A teen charged for reckless driving with a learner's permit, what took deputies months to catch up with the high schooler. And a former Roquette still has some moves. How she continues to inspire young dancers next at 4:30. From your Collier County News team, if you're looking for a way to get into the holiday spirit tonight, head over to North 1st Street in Lamockley. There you can enjoy the annual tree lighting at Zacalo Park. This is a no cost to enjoy the event. You can also take photos with Santa. This is the first in a whole month of holiday events across the county. The next one is all about the Grinch in Golden Gate. We'll tell you more here about that at 5 p.m. The holiday magic is underway at the Edison and Ford Winters Estates on McGregor Boulevard in Fort Myers. Tonight, visitors can take a special Inside the Homes holiday tour at 6:30 p.m. to see the historic homes decked out in festive gold lights and decorations. Holiday lights continue nightly through January 4th with self-guided tours, children-free tree trials, holiday films, Santa visits, and family science shows. Duct tape may fix a lot of things, but neighbors in Southeast Cape Coral say it shouldn't be holding up their utility equipment. Neighbors on Southeast 45th Street off Chiquita Boulevard say these are not temporary fixes at all, because temporary means someone would have come back. Instead, they say crews have left at least 4 cable boxes duct taped to poles for months.
I would fire whoever's in charge. I mean, they definitely need supervision. I mean, this is really shoddy workmanship.
Neighbors tell Gulf Coast News that they worry how long the tape can hold up in Florida weather and whether the setups could lead to outages or safety issues like an electrical fire. There's also a black garbage bag wrapped around utility wires taped in place. One neighbor says that's been there for at least 2 years. We've reached out to several companies, but no one has claimed responsibility. In the NFL, help is on the way for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and at the right time. The Bucs have been without their 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers for most of the season. Chris Godwin made his return from an ankle injury in 2024 just 2 weeks ago. Now a welcome sight on the practice field, even though it's just a walkthrough, as Mike Evans was back on the field. The Bucs opened Evans' 21-day practice window after he fractured a clavicle back in October. Now with the Panthers trying to make a run with the win, the NFC South, getting some depth back would be a huge boost.
We know what kind of playmakers they are. Obviously, Mike is one of the best players of all time, right? And then J-Mac, you know, he's a young guy, but he's shown incredible promise for us.
We'll see how they progress continually, but like I said last week, we have what we need to win right now. Those pieces will be bonuses for us, but we need to execute with what we have right now.
The Bucs have also opened with wide receiver Jalen Milliken's practice window. It will be interesting to see what Baker Mayfield's favors with recent emergence of Emeka Egbuka and Tez Johnson. Egbuka has been the team's clear #1 receiving threat, but Evans had the title for a decade, with Godwin sitting comfortably as the team's second option. A New York Senior Center honored a dance teacher and a former Rockette for decades of inspiring dance. Natalie Faz caught up with the legend.
Good. Jean Widlicka, or Mean Jean, as she's lovingly called by her students, has been teaching dance for decades and at the Senior Center for over 25 years. At 87 years old, she's known for her strict teaching style. Her students know it's not because she's actually mean, but because she cares. Throughout class,
there will be soon fewer places to pick up a Grand Slam breakfast. Denny announced it will shut down more of its restaurants nationwide, focusing on the ones that have been underperforming. The chain hasn't confirmed which locations will be affected. On Wednesday, Denny said it has acquired and taken private by a group for more than $620 million. Denny says the decision to close more of his diners came before the buyout. President Trump is rolling back fuel standards put the place back in by Biden's administration. But what does that mean for us? Biden's passed legislation requiring passenger cars and light trucks to have a fuel efficiency of about 50 miles per gallon by 2031. Those standards were expected to stimulate the sale of electric vehicles, but by rolling back those standards, it will likely shift how automakers manufacture new vehicles in the next 5 years.
We're protecting our auto workers, and we're making it easier for every family to afford high-quality cars. In other words, we're bringing automobiles back and the manufacturing of automobiles back into this country.
Dodge announced earlier this year that they would once again make some models of Ram trucks with the V8 engine. Some experts say by reducing efficiency requirements, Trump is causing bigger engines to once again be more commonly made. A dead panther was found in Hendry County yesterday afternoon. Now the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation is asking drivers to slow down. This is the video of other panthers. FWC says the male panther between 5 and 6 years old likely died from a vehicle collision, which is the main cause of death for Florida panthers. They're asking drivers to follow posted speed limits, especially in Panther Zone, which are in place across several Gulf Coast counties. If you ever see an injured or sick panther, report it to the FWC alert hotline at 888-404-FWCC. This morning, an 18-year-old is facing charges months after Lee County deputies say he caused mayhem driving with a learner's permit back in April. This is 18-year-old Jolyn Lusain. This incident happened at 23rd Street Southwest. Deputies arrested Lusain at Lehigh Senior High School on Tuesday. They say in April, he rear-ended a car, stopped for a school bus, and then took off.
A lot of negligence. Young people drive with their phones in their hands, texting. It's normal for accidents to happen here every week or two.
Lusain was booked into the Lee County Jail on a felony warrant. Are you looking to some gifts for the mail for Christmas? We're telling you where it's the cheapest and why this year the U.S. Post Office says it will be faster than before.